I've got some big updates for you regarding the XRP and HBAR ETFs. I've even got dates for you. We're going to talk about the pot calling the kettle black, along with Ripple staying private. No, they're not going to go IPO. Price action, along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Along with me saying some naughty things, and yeah, I gave you a warning. What about a little HBAR grayscale action? Oh, yeah, that's right. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about this. Starting to see some red pop up on the screen. That's right. We're starting to slide on back down as the market is digesting the fact that the Democrats and the Republicans probably won't come to a deal anytime soon. Altcoin season index, no, it's BTC dominance. But let's do your comments. Why? Because your comments are better than looking at a shitty altcoin season index. Giant Mad Bum, love it. Says head hunting and scalping. Love it. Happy Saturday, Klaus. Yeah, I threw a little Pocahontas joke in there. Yo. She was hardcore yesterday in that live. Charles Pelletier says, good morning. It was a great live feed yesterday. It was like almost 6 hours long on the live. Kevin Quilliams hanging out says, I'm starting to get used to the poop sandwich. The government sucks. It's totally true. The government sucks, man. We need to get rid of all them bastards. John Maloney says, I guess you wish you got those 6 hours back. Hell no. Because I hung out with you, the viewer. Bitcoin, ooh, like I said, we're starting to see some red, everyone. Bitcoin 101,814, XRP at 225, Sol at 156. Well, look at Zcash now in the red, but you know what happened before this. ADA is at 55 cents, and HBAR is what, everyone? 17.3. So what's going on? Well, we've got volume starting to go down like normal for the weekend, down 15% to 172 billion. And we got the pot calling the kettle black. We're going to go over Twitter. That's right, DGen World. This is from Levi. You know who that is. Says, is honestly so sick of frauds like Jake Claver saying XRP will hit $1,000 before year end. Who the believes this? Can you guys stop supporting these grifters? But look at this post. This is from Levi where he said XRP is going to get to $109.29 the next couple of days. So dude, you're calling out people for total wonky XRP price predictions, but you did one. Now he came back and he said, never did I say this. This rumor shit posting is from an ex-social media manager of your account. Yeah, but dude, you're responsible for your stuff. And let's be honest here, that's been up since July 19th, so it's not like you took it down. Oh, because you make the money on shit posting. Oh, pot calling the kettle black, naughty, naughty. Now, a lot of opium pumpers out there are saying, bro, Ripple's gonna go IPO. No, they're not. Like, they're not. Ripple Labs has no plans for an IPO and intends to remain private, focusing on self-funded growth amid its recent SEC victory. Ripple chose to maintain private for operational flexibility and to avoid the pressures of public reporting. When you go public, right, you have to report a lot of shit. We would know exactly how much cash Ripple is sitting on. We would know what their expenses are. We would know what kind of assets, liabilities they have. Yeah, that means all the stuff behind the hidden veil of Ripple would be exposed. So no, they don't want competitors to see what they're doing. And as long as they keep getting money, well, they're going to stay private. Monica Long emphasized that the company is well capitalized through self-funding, enabling investments in growth without needing public markets. This approach supports long-term strategies like stablecoin development and cross-border payment innovations. She said this during the Swell 2025 conference, which just happened a few days ago. Now, gold. Gold's leveling out right around that 4,000 mark, and this is going to be something I heavily pay attention to here this upcoming week, because I want to see if the gold market starts moving or if the gold market softens up a little bit with more of the crap from the government shutdown. Why? Because we're starting to see the risk assets like crypto now starting to flash more red. The SEC sets their final deadline for Grayscale's HBAR ETF. Okay. Now, is this going to be another nothing burger? I'm just throwing it out there. The U.S. SEC has officially set November 12th, 2025 as the final deadline for its decision on the Grayscale HBAR ETF. I'm very curious how this is going to work with the government shutdown. Very, very curious. And remember, not all of these ETFs that were filed have that clause put in where it says, hey, after 20 days, if you don't get back to us, we go live automatically. Now, some of them are still under the original filing. This deadline means at the end of the SEC's review period, the agency cannot extend the timeline any further, meaning it's the final verdict. But again, what happens with the shutdown? I don't think we've ever done this before. Either approval or denial will be delivered by mid-November. If denied, the SEC must publish a detailed explanation outlining its reasoning. I don't think the SEC has the manpower to tackle this stuff. But we're going to find out. We've never gone through a government shutdown while ETF deadlines were proposed. So this is going to be an interesting one to see. Now, XRP's ETF story from 21 shares. That's right. Remember, XRP has 20 different ETFs in the queue. 21 shares. The leading crypto exchange traded product provider on Friday submitted an 8A filing for its spot XP ETF, which under law would become automatically effective after 20 days without the SEC intervention. By the way, the ticker from that is going to be TOXR. Custody of XRP will be managed by 3 regulated entities, including Coinbase Custody, they suck balls, Anchorage Digital, cool with that one, and BitGo Trust Company. Other managers, including Canary Capital, Franklin Templeton, and Bitwise, have also done updated filings, and guess what? That means that the government shutdown gets extended. Yes, everyone, ETFs get automatically approved. Now, we're looking at HBAR here, and we've seen this. Look at this right here, okay? This is a low of just under 16 cents on this candlestick, and on that candlestick, 15.93 on this one, and 15.96 on this one. So you can see, right, we're kind of getting a little bit of support here, but we're not feeling too comfortable with that support because, as you can see, after the rebound, we're having another downtrend. And what was this? Total bear trap right here. The market going up yesterday while we were watching the hearing was an absolute bear trap. Let's get a little bit of exit liquidity going, and that's exactly what happened as we are seeing now HBAR pull back from its highs. We had some highs of 18 cents down to now 17.39. Nothing crazy in terms of percentage-wise, but it's not the action we're looking for, is it, HBAR fans? Volume is right around $327 million, and when you zoom out, what do you notice? Yeah, I mean, check this out. Remember when we did that nasty, like, dumperoni and the market pooped itself, and then we rebounded? We're almost back to where we did that initial rebound. So you're going on, what, a month since that almost? And yeah, right back where you started. Now, XRP's chart looks very similar, right? A little bit of bear trap action. Again, I don't understand why there was optimism in the markets yesterday. And that's why I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is freaking awesome, because no one was saying it was awesome if they were watching the government hearing. And remember, that stops the regs, and that stops a lot of money flowing into crypto. So when we look at this, we're like, okay, volume is kind of going down. We're starting to see what's happening with gold. We're starting to see what's happening with the ETFs. Are any of these ETFs going to give XRP a big pumperoni? Because remember, we already know the one is going to go live on the 13th if the government shutdown stays activated. Will we get another little pumperoni here? Will that bring us up to 250? That'd be kind of cool. Or would the bigs out there be using it as exit liquidity, knowing that the government shutdown could make an even bigger mess of a messy situation? Pot calling the kettle black. You are responsible for your person, and you should have taken that post down, which you didn't. So, yeah. You just made money on it, so what do you care? And Twitter is definitely the degen world for hopium pumpers. The thing is, it is bad for the community because it does set unrealistic expectations. But you know what else is bad for the community? The United States government not working together. Now, I don't expect any big breaks to happen this weekend because, honestly, they were so far apart that I don't even know how these two are going to get together. They're like the magnet, right? When you have the same polarity and when you push one next to it, it kind of pushes away, you push one and push away. That's what's going on with the government right now. And it's pretty freaking pathetic. Now, in terms of the ETFs, look, HBAR did get a nice initial pumperoni on the ETF launch, but then we saw it erase and even went below where it was during that pumperoni time. Is the same going to happen with XRP and the Canary one on the 13th? Well, we're only 5 days away, according to Garmin, and we're going to see pretty soon what it actually means for the entire market. Now, like I said, regs on pause until the government shutdown ends. And we got to also see if the government's going to be like, yo, so are we, I don't know, are we going to do a continuing resolution through December 21st? Or are we going to do one for a year? Which, yeah, I talked about that earlier. Not fun, everyone. Choo-choo what? Well, I mean, it's Saturday. Everyone says $10,000 XRP by Friday. Jake Claver is always talking about $1,000 XRP by the end of the year. And well, Garmin's telling me that none of that have happened. So choo-choo what? Choo-choo liars, choo-choo bitches, and choo-choo degen Twitter. Not X, Twitter.